What you see here is a inspection system for looking at automotive switches. I'll hold a switch up in front here so you can see what I'm actually inspecting. This switch is a toggle. It has some icons down here at the bottom. You can see lock and unlock, and then on the switch itself it has an illuminated icon there as well. And so we're inspecting to make sure that those icons are the correct icon, and then also that they light up the right colors and that they do light up. On the back we have these three valves that are different colors. Those colors can change based on the switch, and so we are looking at the different colors that those switches are and making sure that it's correct based on the build part number of that switch. Lastly, if you could see it, there's 4 terminals in here. Those terminals have different functions based on the switch, and so the vision program will create the logic that will either provide 12 volts, ground, or leave the pin open based on what signals are required for the build part number. Just as an example, you can see this switch. It has a lock and unlock icon, as well as having a tandem axle icon with 2 X's on the axle. So if we pull out a different switch, you can see on this switch that there's actually text with the lock and unlock icons. And then also on the tandem axle, it only has an X between the 2 axle shafts. It's not on each axle. So the inspection should be able to identify that. You'll notice on the back it also has the 3 different colors. Those are actually the same colors as the other switch, and then it has the 4 pins. All the switches have the same construction, shape, and size. So now I'm going to come in here. When the system is initially booted up, you'll see 4 screens here. The 4 screens show the 4 images that were acquired during the inspection. We have 2 push buttons, so it's an ambidextrous test fixture based on whether you're left-handed or right-handed. And then there's a beacon up on top that indicates green for pass, red for fail, and then it illuminates amber mid-inspection. It does require the operator to toggle the switches because there's 2 dates on the switch, and we have to test both of those. So to begin, you actually need to load in a part number, and it's loaded in by typing the part number of the switch, which is written on the label. Like this one is 3284, so you type 3284-006, and then you hit open, and that will load the part number, where that part number tells the inspection system what polarities to put on the pins, as well as the colors of the valves and what types of icons belong on the front of the switch. So I can place the switch in here. It instructs the operator, insert the switch with the forward orientation, and then press the trigger. The light turns amber to indicate it's time to toggle the switch. Tells you right here to toggle the switch back and press the trigger. Push it one more time and it completes the inspection. This switch passed all the icons. You can see it checked the shapes and icons up on the front. It checked the color of the switch connectors on the back. And then it turns the light off and it looks at the color and intensity of light coming out of the switch. So in the first position, it's a white axle icon with an amber 0. After you flip the switch, it's just the white axle icon. There's no amber 0. It turns it off. So if I was to come in here, and I'm going to use the wrong part number, it's a similar switch, but it's wrong, which they want to catch. So I'm going to place that switch in there. I push the trigger. Amber light turns on, indicating it's time to toggle the switch. I finish it. You saw the red beacon, tells you red here, failed. And in the images, it highlights what's wrong. So in the first image you can see there's text here. There's not supposed to be any text. The icon for the axle is wrong. If you remember, I mentioned earlier the correct one actually has 2 X's. This one only has 1 on the axle. This image passed. You can see the green border. So the colors were correct here. But in this image, it's an amber icon instead of a white one, so that failed. And then the intensity was, it's lit up, so there's a little green box in there saying the intensity is okay. And then on this inspection here, you can again see that the color is wrong. So that demonstrates a fail. I'll put a good one back in there again. So you test it, and it passed. And in this one you can see it's white, which is why the other one failed, was because it was amber. Up here there's no text, so that failed. Here there's 2 X's on the axles, and that's why that failed. Now here's kind of a close-up of the fixture. Inside you can see we have, this is where the switch mounts in. There's kind of a release lever here in the back that's kind of holds the switch in place. So when I place the switch in, I push it down. That lever in the back locks it in place. Here's the connector that actually feeds the 4 pins in there for the power that's inside the control panel. As the switch is placed in here, over here is a 90-degree mirror. So up above there's actually 2 cameras. There's one looking straight down at the top of the switch, and there's one that looks down into this 45-degree mirror, bends the image over 90 degrees to look at the back of the control, at the back of the switch. So when I put the switch in, here's kind of what you can see for the inspection. I'll push the button and it takes a snapshot. You can see the lights turn on the switch. It turned all these lights on. It turned off the overhead illumination so that it could see the contrast on that image. Once it snapped the first picture and done that inspection, that's when that amber light turns on. Tells you to flip the switch, and then to finish it I just push this button again and you'll see the overheads come back on. So that's the inspection system. Thank you.